Hello, we're back. Today we're going to make a purse, a tote bag. You will need dish mat. I bought this from Dollar Tree. You'll need two of these. It's 12 by 18 and it's a dish, not, I said towel, but I meant a dish drying mat. That's what you need. You need two of these from Dollar Tree. Paid about $1.50 for it. This is my test run. I wish I could have found some design fabric, but I didn't. So I'm using what I have. What you will need to do with both placemats, there is an edge around here. You'll need to cut all of this off, all the way around the rectangle. So cut all of that off. And then with your final piece, this one is cut off. You'll see this has this white foam inside. It's kind of to help the sewing process be a little bit more smooth. You will need 2 lining sheets. Now, I cut mine out after I had cut the trim off, so that's what you will need to do as well. After you've cut that trim off that we talked about, lay your lining sheet down and then just cut around your lining sheet. It'll all just depend upon what size your mat is once you get it trimmed. And so you'll need 2 of these for your lining, okay? The other thing you will need are 2 straps. You can use webbing if you have webbing. I'm using ribbon, heavy duty ribbon that I purchased from Amazon. This is 2.5 inch black and white buffalo ribbon. And you'll need 24 inches for both ribbons or webbing, whatever you decide to use. Once we get this trimmed like I have mine trimmed, find your center, and you'll do the same thing for both mats. Find your center, open it back up, put a pin there, and then you're going to measure 3 inches from your center. So the length of my finger is about 3 inches. You can go ahead and measure it properly if you want. So I'll put a pin there, and then I'm going to measure 3 inches from my other finger and put a pin there. Reason we're doing that, because this is where our strap is going to go. The beginning of my strap will go right here where that pin is. So I'll just remove that, put a pin there. Making sure it's even, and making sure that this strap is down. You don't want it up like this, because you're going to sew and you don't want it to get caught. Here's the other one. Okay, so that's set, and you're going to do this on both mats. Then you'll get your lining piece after you've pinned it, and then pin your lining piece right here at the top, all the way across. So that it doesn't move while you're sewing. Feel where your pins are so you don't overlap those pins. And when you sew, go ahead and take your time to put it together. You're just going to do a straight seam across, close to the edge. That's all you'll do for right now. So We've pinned our strap on and we have pinned our lining on. Now what I want you to do is go to your machine and just sew across here a straight seam all the way across on this layer and on your other side. Go ahead and do both layers and then we'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I have sewn across here on both pieces. I started, okay, removed all of the pins, and so this is the front now of your bag. What I want you to do is open it up like this. Go and give it a nice press right here on this seam all the way across. Do this on both pieces. This is the back of the bag. Give it a nice press all the way across. And once you've given it a nice press, we're going to turn the good sides together like this. The lining pieces together and then the back portions together. Okay? And you can pin them just to make sure that nothing moves. So I'll just put a couple of pins in here just to show you. Probably not there, and I'll show you why. The most important parts of your bag, like here's where the lining and the body part meets, you want to make sure that they meet up very close here, okay? Do the best you can to line it up. And do that on both sides, making sure that the seams match up. And pin it to make sure that it stays. Okay, so that's important. I'm going to show you on this part. I'm going to make sure that my lining pieces are together. It will be easier once you've given it a press. I didn't want to stop and have to come back. But what we're going to do is go ahead and cut out some pieces. So this is one corner of the lining. I'll do it like this because it's important that you see it. Making sure my two pieces are together, I'm going to measure up 2.5 inches and measure across 2.5 inches and mark it. So what I mean, so here's my measuring tape, 2.5 from the bottom. Mark it, 2.5, oops, to this side. Some people do 3 inches, some people do 2. I'm just doing 2.5, and we'll do this on all 4 sides. This is the lining side. You're going to mark your back side as well. Marking them just like that, and then you're going to get a straight edge. Mine has lines here, so wherever I've marked it, I can put my line here to make sure that my line will be straight. And I'm going to move it all the way up. Hope you're getting this. It's hard to tell. But there's my mark. Should be about here. It's going to be a square when we get done. Okay, see the square? I'll do the other side as well. Here's my mark. 1, 2 on this ruler, it's 2.5. Using this to make sure that it's straight. Be nice if you can make it even with what you've already drawn, so that even if it's not, it'll be even with your bag. So I'm going to go across. Okay. So you see these two squares? You're going to cut those squares out. Now you have to mark your bag and do the same way. I'll use a different color for my black, but it's easier to show you with the blue. I'm just going to cut this out with my blue. Want that to be together. Okay, so that one's cut out. Remember to do your press first, your hard press first, so that it will line up better. Mine isn't doing so great because I did not do the pressing, but it's important that you press before you cut out. Okay, so you're going to do this. When it opens, it should look like that. Okay? So you're going to do this side for your black bag as well. Okay, so let's go do that. You're going to give it a hard press. You put the good sides together, pin it, give it a hard press, and then cut out those squares. And then we'll be back, okay? Okay, I'm back. Here I have all my 4 sides, 1, 2, cut out, and the one we did together. Okay, so they're all cut out, and what I did, and what I want you to do, you see the whole side of it, you're going to sew across here, stop, turn it to the side, sew all the way down, stop, turn it again, sew across, stop, and on your final side, sew across. Do not sew this where your square is. Do not sew this part. You're only sewing these edges, the longest edges on all 4 sides. Just like I did here. I sewed here and on this end. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to sew along this end of the lining. I'm going to sew there, and I'm going to sew this other side all the way down. So let's go do that, and then I'll be back. All right, so I've sewn all of my 4 main parts. I forgot to tell you guys about 1/4 of an inch is what I've been using. If you want to do a 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch, you can do that too. Hope you remember to do your back stitching at the end of each one. So we've got that done. So what you're going to do on 3 of the sides, you're only going to do 1 of the corners for your lining. Okay, just 1. You need to leave this other one open so we can turn the bag around, okay? And if you sew up all, we can't open the bag. So, leave this one open. This one will close up. I'm going to show you how to close it up. You will need to get some pins. Where the 2 seams are, because it was lying like this, but I'm getting the 2 points here, okay? Opening them up, open this one up, and where the seams meet, I put it together, just like that, and then you can pin it. Just those 2 pieces together. This makes your bag box at the bottom so that you can put more things in it. That's why some people do 3 inches, because it makes the bag wider. I think for your first bag, 2.5 is good. I'm going to pin it here. Pin it over here. I'll show you on the blue part. Maybe you can see it better, but this is how it should look once you get it pinned. Because then you're going to sew across here. If you want to sew across here a couple times, that's good, because it's going to get a lot of weight. So, but you'll sew across here end to end, and you're going to do 3 of the sides. So you'll do this black, the other side. Maybe we'll go ahead and do them together. My 2 seams, they're going to meet up together, pin it. Ooh, it's having a hard time getting there. Get the other side over here, pin it. Okay, now that one's done. And we're only doing one side of the lining. I can't emphasize that enough. One side of the lining, only one corner. So I'm thinking maybe this one's a little easier, hopefully, so you can see it. But see, it was down like this, and there are your 2 seams. Here's a seam, here's the other seam. Open it up and put those seams together and pin it. And whichever direction you want this to go, you can do it. You could have even ironed this flat if you wanted it to be open. Pin this side. And we'll pin this final side. Should only be 2 pieces, so make sure you don't gather any other fabric in there. And there you are. Okay? So you're going to sew across here on all 3 of these sides. So let's go do that, and then we'll be back to take a look at. Okay, I wanted to come in real quick to show you what it should look like once you get done sewing. Okay? It's called boxing, or boxing the corners so that the bag will sit flat. It should look like this. And I left one side open in your lining. And it's important to leave the lining part open, because this is the part of the bag that won't be seen. If you leave this part, it won't look nice. This is your main part of the bag, so you don't want to leave one of those open. Always leave one part of your lining open to turn out. So what I'm going to do is turn the right side out and show you how to close up this corner, and then we'll be done. I'll be right back. Okay, we're on the home stretch now, guys. You should be smiling really with a big smile, because you just made the bag. Now this is the corner. This is the corner. You're going to do it just like we did before. Fold it in though. I would probably suggest ironing it so that it can stay in, but you're going to find your 2 seams. They're going to be folded in though. Fold them in, find your 2 seams, and then you're just going to pin it with your seams in, with that part in. So iron this in first, okay? And then just go ahead and do a top stitch along here. If you have matching thread, that would be great to go ahead and match your thread so it won't see as much. But yeah, let's go do that. And then I'll show you one more step. Okay, I decided not to do the last step. The last step would have been, well, what I did do, I went in and I ironed all, all sides, just so that it can look nicer. But it's all done, very happy. But one step, if you want to do it, is to bring your straps up here and just do a top stitch all the way around. It's supposed it's to help keep your straps up. If you want to go do that, I'm not doing it because I didn't have any bobbin that's this color, and I didn't want it to be black on this side. So I decided to just leave it the way it is. I like the blue sticking out. And yeah, I really love that it stands on its own. That's why we use the dish mats. I do hope you give it a try. I hope it wasn't confusing for you. It's a very lovely project to try as a beginner sewer. I may come back at a later date and show you how to put pockets on the inside. But for now, this is wonderful. Yeah, it's supposed to turn out like this. So if yours does, don't freak out. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, so it looks nice and it's usable for whatever you need it, whatever your bag needs are. All right then. Bye for now.